He has a new posse.
How many?
700 total.
Hey! Cabrón!
So, Seven Cemeteries is essentially a retelling of the Seven Samurai or Magnificent Seven with the
No,
undead.
it's kind of
What
like that, except for I got zombies on my team.
exactly? So, what intrigues you most about being
A
able to tell that
bruja,
story?
a bruja, which is a witch, and we go after the bad guy, Sal, and Buelito, and it's I really liked it because it just has enough horror to make it a horror movie, but then enough humor to make it a comedy, and then we've got enough uh, emotion, to make it like, almost. So there's this arc that goes, and I love that. I know that right now they just did a film, a cowboy movie that it's like 4 movies, and it was just a lot. They lost me. You know what I mean? You gotta like go with what you got. So I think if they would have took any one of those and made them into a full length, it would have been great.
Yeah. Well, and do you have a preference for the types of roles that you play these days?
Uh, nah, just whatever you got. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the check clear. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Uh, it's me and my son just did a film called From a Son that just got into Cannes, and
That must be very exciting then.
drug
What was
addict
that kind of
kid.
partnership like working with
Yeah,
your son?
well, it kind of is about a drug addict kid that dies, and his dad wakes up when he's dying and goes looking for him in his hell, and it's an amazing story, and it's really a dope fiend's life. So
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to check that one out. Well,
yeah.
and back to Seven Cemeteries. I've been a fan of the director John Gulager for quite a while, and I know he can be quite eccentric. So, as an actor, what would you say that John brings to the table as a director?
Oh God, he was awesome. No, he was. Oh, we had so much fun with him, and he was. How do you say it? He was able to laugh at himself and laugh at you. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and so it was all mutual. So it was just great working with him. And then my son, he made my son second unit director, and and my son plays me as a young kid. So it was like I said, he was just a brilliant to work with. Yeah.
That's incredible. I did not even realize that your son was involved in this one as well. That's so cool. How important is it to you for you to be able to give opportunities to whether it's your son or anyone in the film industry that you think deserves a shot? What does that mean to you?
That's kind of what we do. Like I'm still a drug counselor. I still work with people that have drug issues. So just giving them a chance at life is like, wow, okay, that's cool, and simply because I got a chance, I got a second chance, and so we've got different places that are called second chance, and we know we keep them full,
Yeah.
and that's what we want to do. We just give people second chances.
Yeah. Well, and the end of Seven Cemetery seems to indicate the possibility of a sequel. Would you return as Bravo in another outing?
Absolutely, man. Writing it now, and I think it was just a funny. I mean, the whole thing is is a good journey into laughter.
Yeah. And well, and just by looking at your filmography, you seem to be a man that just loves to work. What keeps your passion for filmmaking alive after so many projects?
When I go like to a high school, and I talk about staying away from drugs and alcohol. They listen, mainly because they know me. I've been on that box that they watch constantly, you know what I mean? And they see that I was there and I know what's going on. And it wasn't like I'm trying to tell them to, hey, okay, all go to church. Like, there's nothing wrong with church, but I'm just saying, look, here's what's gonna happen if you keep using drugs. This is gonna happen if you don't. And I stopped using, my whole life changed. You know what I mean? I'm the most recognizable Latino on the face of the planet, because of what I do, So when I see somebody, doing wrong, it's like I can tell them and they'll listen, I think that's a blessing. It's a big blessing. Like, wow, okay, cool. I had kids come up and say, man, I heard you talk in juvenile hall when I was there. And yeah, you were right, man. I'm 25 now. I got my kids. And you think, man, thank you. Thank you.
That is amazing. It's very commendable. I'm glad that you're able to get that from your work. And thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been a great talk.
Mr. Bravo. El Abuelo sends his regards.
Welcome back. I prefer Enchantress. You need a new crew.
There's nobody alive crazy enough to stand up to Abuelo.
First off, I want to ask, what was your experience like working on 7 Cemeteries?
It was a blast. The script is wild. The characters are hilarious. And there's just so much going on. It's a horror, comedy, Western, action-packed film with a lot of heart to it as well. So it's unusual and it's good, and I had a great time.
How many days was your shoot?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
A few weeks. We did it during COVID. It was a long time ago.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I remember we had to have the masks, and it feels like forever ago because so much has been going on in the world, but it's been a few years.
Wow. It's amazing how slow sometimes movie making can be.
Yeah, right. And we shot it in Oklahoma City, and I had a great time. It was great working with Danny and Efren, and it was wonderful.
Well, and Danny Trejo is able to get so many different independent films made just due to his involvement. Can you talk a little about why Danny is so easy to work with?
Well, first of all, he has this reputation of being this tough guy. And yes, of course, he looks like a real big tough guy. He's got the tattoos, and I think he's really handsome. And but he's such a genuinely sweet person. And so for me, I look in his eyes and I see like a dad, like a daddy figure, like a hero. And it was perfect, even though I played this witch, an old witch. There's a part of me, since I'm pleading with him to come back and resurrect his posse and fight for our town and overtake that drug lord that's got his boot on our necks. And I have this vulnerable moment, where I'm really asking for his help. And so he's got such a warmth to him, and he's funny too. So I get why he's this icon. Everybody loves him, and I understand why.
Well, and your character Bruja gets some fun moments and gets to put Danny in his place a bit. What was your favorite aspect of getting to play a witch?
Oh gosh, at first I was like, oh my gosh, they're making me look so ugly. And I'm such a glamour puss in real life. And my husband said, babe, think of it as a theater piece. And I said, yeah, because we're theater trained actors. I studied at the University of Miami's conservatory program. We did all kinds of different genres. We did Shakespeare, Commedia dell'arte, Greek tragedy. And I'm like, yeah, this is like a theater piece. I'm throwing myself into it and I don't care. And I love that. I love that, you know, when John, our director, was saying, "Can we give him more liver spots?" Yes, I cringed and then I relaxed into it. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go for it. So I love that I look hideous, and because it's funny and it's real. You know, if you live to be like a witch, to be, I don't know how old I was, you're gonna look like trash. And I love that, those, you know, the dreadlock wig and the beads and shells in my hair, and you could not do this like I'm doing right now. You couldn't put your fingers through my hair. It was just really fun and different.
Yeah.
And I
What-
love that I got to be funny and I got to be dramatic and I got to do so many things. I got to hold a firearm and pull the trigger, which I'd never done. And it was all very, you know, we were trained on how to do it, 100% professional and safe. And that was kind of exciting, you know, because there's so much action in the movie. It's like, you have to remember to breathe when you're watching some of those sequences when we're fighting for justice, you know?
And it's exciting to actually be able to pick up a gun and be involved in that rather than just be on the outskirts as well. So I can imagine that being a very good time.
Yeah, well, it was for for the right reasons. For the right reasons, it was cool to be part of that, being part of the fight.
Yeah. When I have to ask too, I've been a fan of John Gulager for a while, and he can be quite eclectic. As an actor, what would you say that John brings to the table as a director?
Oh gosh, he's fun. He's real. He's like unpredictable. I like those personalities. I enjoy them. I'd rather somebody be their authentic, eccentric, fun, different, not cookie cutter kind of person, and be real than somebody who's, you know, doing things the way they think they should do them. I kind of want to slap them around and say, "Where are you? Let me see the real person." Yeah. So I think he's a very refreshing, creative person, and he was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. I just talked to him earlier this week, and I was like, "Oh, you're exactly what I expected you to be. Awesome." So everyone I talk to always loves dying in movies. What was your experience like dying on camera?
Well, the way I die is, it's not like, you know, it's not like going off into that good night. It's kind of wild. I don't want to give it away. Yeah. But I've died a couple times before. I died a long time ago on 21 Jump Street. That was my first big show. I was 21 years old and I was on 21 Jump Street.
Amazing.
And I had to like have this squib inside my shirt and I activated it. I squozed this thing in my hand and it made the thing inside my shirt explode with blood. So I'm shot from a distance. So I'm like walking, talking to Johnny Depp. And all of a sudden you hear the assassin's gun and I, as the actress, I hear it and I squeeze the thing and I'm like, oh! And it was fun because it's just so dramatic.
Yeah.
You know, so as an actor, amazing. We want to do dramatic things. We want to die. We want to fight. We want to scream. We want to pull the gun. So you know, we enjoy those kinds of irregular situations when we're acting. So, yeah. But it was kind of like, it was a little scary because as the actor, I'm in the moment. So for me as the Bruja, it was scary. It was scary. And I have that moment with him at the end where I get to be vulnerable. And that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, and I have to ask too, you've had a career that spanned over 30 years. Is there any one project that always stood out as a favorite of yours that you wish that more people had seen?
That I wish more people had seen?
Yes.
Well, I really liked when I did a play called Hedda Gabler, and I got to play Hedda Gabler for East LA Classic Theater. It was very dramatic, demanding, incredible play. And yeah, that would have been cool if more people could have seen me as Hedda.
Yeah. I always like to send our audience to, you know, different movies, different different
well, that
different films that people like may not have watched that you wish
Oh,
that they had
well.
seen.
right. Well, that obviously wasn't a movie; it was a
Yeah.
play. But see, I can't say Wizards. I had such a blast being the mom on Wizards because everybody has
Yeah, I
seen it.
saw it.
And everybody loves it all over the
Yeah.
world because Disney's tentacles are so wide that it's dubbed in every language, and everywhere I go, all kinds of people recognize me, and it's such an honor. They have to have been part of that show because there's such affection for it, and such affection for my character.
And if anything, that's awesome because it means that the project that stood out to you the most is one that people very much know you for, and it's widespread. So that's fantastic. And
Yes.
that's all the time I have with you. Thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been great. You have a great rest of your
Thanks,
day.
Tyler. Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Thanks.
Yep, dead as disco.
Let's finish this.
You told me to get some help. This is what I got.
Well, I really enjoyed the movie, and so I have to know, how did you get involved with the project?
Well, I'm an actor. So, yeah, by force. I died, and they're like, "Hey, you have nothing to do, but how about this?" So, I can't remember what other project I was working on, but my agent called me up and they told me about this project, and I thought like, "Oh, this would be interesting," but with Cemeteries, and I had worked with Gulager before on another project, as actors, as a matter of fact, on a film that I co-produced, and we went to the Sitges Festival in Spain, and so I thought, well, okay, what is this? And Gulliver told me that it was an ode to Magnificent Seven and Seven Samurai, and which I truly love because I love Kurosawa's work. And I thought, okay, so but with a twist. And I know Gulager's sense of humor, which is quite like mine, is very sarcastic and snarky. Yeah. So I thought, all right, well, who am I playing? And he goes, well, the main guy is being played by Danny Trejo. And I go, what? And I go, all right. So, and I get to play somebody like, Miguel, who kind of leads him into the world of darkness as we go against the antagonist, which is played by the great Sal Lopez. So.
Yeah. Well, and you were my favorite part of the movie because your character has such a don't give a fuck quality to him that is so endearing. Can you talk a little about your approach to the role?
Well, when I thought about having to play a dead guy, because I've been wanting to do like a horror genre where I'm dead, I thought the first thing that popped in my brain literally was Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice. So he had such an attitude, and I'm going, well, yeah, because one, that's who he is, and I thought, well, what would be a twist that I would get a sense of in creating this role is the fact that I'm just a heavy romantic, but because I'm dead now, is that I have this bitterness to hoping that maybe possibly I could come back to life, maybe, and this regret of dying because all the things that I wanted to accomplish when I was alive didn't occur. And the question remains, who killed me then? And I don't, without giving anything away, I'm not too sure if you end up seeing that besides having to support Bravo, Danny Trejo's character, into what his mission is what his mission is.
Yeah. When you're absolutely caked in makeup, so how did you manage to get through those long days filming in the desert?
Yeah, well, we were shooting in Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
But we were at some reservation or some ranch, and I was like going, because so it took about an hour and a half just to get there, and I had to get there 3 hours prior because it's all the prosthetics and all the makeup. And I'm like, not only do I give props to the makeup artists and all the props because of so much that they had to do on me, but the fact that they had to get there way before me so that they could set themselves up. And I get it, doing the turnaround. I'm like, that was nuts. There was some scenes we're shooting at night, and because I was wearing my contacts, I could not see. I was bumping into cars, bumping into poles, because I was just literally. I'm like the worst zombie ever. Like you're like, yeah, who's that nerd zombie with glasses? Oh, that's right, it's Efren because he cannot see. And little does you know, glasses are not going to help him because he's blind. So.
Well, and I've been a fan of director John Gulager for a while, and I know he can be quite eccentric. As an actor, what would you say that John brings to the table as a director?
I think he has such a creative format because of his sarcasm. I think he's quite like Miguel, where the best way to deal with the chaotic situation is to joke about it, but not only do you see it and do you hear it in the dialogue, but you could see it with the way he shoots, and you could find the irony in many funny moments, and he knows how to do that well. And what I enjoyed about working with him is that while we were working on the set, we were able to, even with Danny Trejo, explore the scenes, even if it felt a little off, where it felt like it was missing something, and he allowed us to try new things, which is great because any director who gives the actors the freedom, especially in the art of storytelling, trust that where it's supposed to go, and hope that you could accomplish that every time you do a take. And every take that we did was so funny because of its honesty, because of its pain. And John was and is able to do that, and that's what I truly like about him and his work.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of John since Feast, so it's been awesome to see, because he's always very sporadic with his projects, so it's been awesome to see him come back.
What kind of bike do you have?
It's a sledgehammer.
Dang, you ever take it off any sweet jumps?
Finally, this year was the 20-year anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite, and you were able to celebrate it at Sundance with John Heder. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from that film?
I think to trust your instincts. There's so many moments when, even now, as I see other actors and other artists and directors and producers and writers create their stories in the cloud of a studio, you feel like you have to kowtow to that. And in some ways you do, but you also have to trust your own creative instincts when you have done the study of storytelling, when you understand the arcs of characters. And now I'm beginning to explore that in the project that I work on, because then I give myself the freedom to create and to go at it 100% with different writers, with different actors, with different producers, with different directors and cinematographers who push the envelope to in such a way where you have a different point of view in a specific story. So to me, I always feel like I'm starting out again. And that's a good position to be in, because when you get a script, if you go in thinking like you know stuff already, then you're in trouble. I go in with a blank slate and I go, all right, my new script, I don't know how to do this is be drama. And I'm going, why did they pick me? Oh, okay. And if I could live vicariously through these characters that I play, and to the fullest, and be fully present in their journey, then I could not only inform the audience but entertain them at the same time.
I think that's a great lesson for any actor. So thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been a great conversation.
Oh, no, thank you very much. And for all of you guys over there, JoBlo, I love you guys. You guys are pretty flipping awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be sure to tell the team. You have a great one. So, as she said, I'm Tyler Nichols with JoBlo.com, and as you can probably tell by my background, I'm a big Feast fan, so I may have some questions for you at the end. Yeah, so with Seven Cemeteries, it's very clearly using the Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven as inspiration. What intrigued you to want to tell that story with the undead?
Well, okay, so first of all, I always loved that story. And whether it's yeah, a group of people, helping the downtrodden, against the bad army of people, or whether it's one guy like, Valdez is coming or something, trying to, the you pick either it's the you picked on the wrong guy, you didn't know who you were messing with, or the people that can't defend themselves reach out and someone helps them. And so I always kind of like that kind of story. So this time we just added in the living impaired, and and from there we just kind of went forward. And then Danny, the face, you know that gets you halfway down the field.
Yeah. How early into development did Danny get involved?
Beginning. The
very
beginning.
beginning.
Make a movie with Danny, would you want to, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and was there any one element from like the Seven Samurai story that you were like, this has to carry over?
I'm just gonna have to say it was very loose.
Okay.
The idea, because like if you're familiar with our movie and that movie, there's the only thing that there is like there's the main guy, and he gets a buddy, and they go around and find different people to join their group of well, they'd be mercenaries, except that they're not doing it for the money. And but in their case, they have a reason to do it. But then in the end, they do it anyways.
No. Well, you've been making films for decades at this point. How has the indie horror business evolved over the years? Is it harder or easier to get something made these days?
I don't know. I'm really lazy. I'm probably there's so many great stories about filmmakers and stuff, and I am not one of those. I fail upwards, I fail forward. I just, I'm that guy. And so it's, but what's interesting though is as horror's made, over the last, 10 years or so, it made this tremendous, I don't know if you'd be comeback because it's never left.
Yeah.
But, because, when I was growing up, Creature from the Black Lagoon and Godzilla and all those kind of movies, It the Terror from Beyond Space, we're really big, but lately, you're going to have some, Nosferatu, is coming, which I have high hopes for, we'll see.
Same.
I want to go see this movie, Azrael.
Yes, it's very good. Very, very good.
Down at my local theater, EL Cats. I'm thrilled to see like big budget horror. Now, I'm not making that per se. But that it's all legit now, and I think I might take it for Joker. I'm going to go see Joker, and I know whatever.
Well, and I have to ask too. I know you're a cinematographer as well. Is there a specific reason why you aren't usually the cinematographer on the films that you direct?
It's just so much work. I asked. There's a guy named Ernest Dickerson. You know him? He shot Do the Right Thing, but he's also a director. And he shot a film, and he said, "I will never do that again. It's just too much, because I know that the director, once the movie gets going, it's just a bunch of problem solving, because everything goes wrong. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it's like on a Spielberg movie, but on the ones that where it's not the multi-million-dollar movies, there's just a million things to go wrong, and I would suggest there probably are on those movies too. And and although I love to shoot stuff, and I always shoot a little something somewhere in the movies, but it's just it's a little overwhelming. I would say, and because you're having to go fast, like in that when you work on certain types of movies, it's not like when I'm here at home and I can basically spend all day long on one shot, and it's a good one.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You had to keep the ball rolling, and it's a whole army of people,
Yeah. When Seven Cemeteries, the ending seemed to indicate a sequel. Do you have any plans for where Bravo might end up next?
Well, I guess you never know. I know when I made Feast, there was, it was part of Project Greenlight, and nothing had ever come out of that anyone wanted a sequel for. And then all of a sudden it was like, Gulager, you do this thing. So you just don't always know. And I don't think we really set it up per se as a sequel as much as like, that this character is going to walk the earth or whatever, and have go out to try to save more ladies' farms. I don't know.
Finally, you're nearly 20 years removed from Feast. When you look back, what was your favorite part of that experience?
Oh my God. Well, the first Feast, I was just like a deer in the headlights. I was so petrified because we would shoot something, and then this camera crew would drag me off and try to interview me about everything. And nothing ever goes smooth. And so I never want to throw anyone under the bus. So I became a little bit tight-lipped about a lot of things because I was basically always upset. But I didn't want to show that. And plus I'm a filmmaker, so I gave the documentary people access to my life somewhat. But that said, I think I had the best time with Feast. It was just incredible. We got to build that bar. We went off, the production designer and I went off and found a bar, and then he just rebuilt it, on the stage. It was crazy. It was really neat.
Well, as you can tell, I'm a big fan of the series.
And all the blood,
Yeah.
And I do regret, I have a regret that when Jenny Wade gets up the third time, we didn't hit her with the blood again. It's like, oh well, because I just couldn't. I was gonna do it. I just couldn't do it because it's just she hated it so much.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. You have a great rest of your day, John.